There's sometimes I want a little comic book in my comic book movie, but like I'm totally fine with the Joker not being that way. Yeah. Anyway, we're back, and sorry, you're talking about the phone conversation with. Thank you, buddy. This was just there.
Just there.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Thank you, man. You were talking about the phone call with Chris Sarandon.
Yeah.
With Leon.
It's just amazing. I loved it when he was just like, he was telling Leon, he was just like, I'm dying. I'm just dying over here.
Yeah.
And Leon's like, You're dying.
Yeah.
You're always dying.
Yeah.
Every day you tell me you're dying.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
And then they have their whole phone call. He hangs up. He immediately calls his female wife,
Right.
who he's got 2 kids with, and like I think it's like one of the first things he says. He was like, Angie, I'm dying.
Yeah, I know. He's like,
he goes right back. He's
great.
like, I'm gonna make this work
Absolutely
for me.
And it's so how true. I mean, like when we're feeling put upon, or at least when I'm feeling sorry for myself and dramatic, and I'm talking to people I can unload that on.
Yeah.
I use the same thing.
Yeah,
And
he was
like,
just,
I've heard that a million times.
He knows he's in a bind, and he's trying to fool himself into thinking it's gonna work, and he's looking to be consoled in that moment, and boy, does he not get it from either way. But particularly his wife that he has 2 kids with.
Right.
Because
he goes, Angie, I'm dying. She goes, Sonny, what are you doing? I saw on the TV.
He can't even get a word in. And then he freaks
She's
out.
like an auctioneer.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
And then he hangs up, and
Angie.
he has this, and he's like, "Oh, this is a guy who has 2 wives."
And he goes,
who just robbed a bank, then it didn't go well.
Yeah, and he goes, yeah. It is. I mean, gosh, it's the stressed out movie. It's the stressed out movie.
Did you read about how they did? Because this was like Lumet filmed it with 2 cameras.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was
could only-
pre-digital, so film magazines, which hold only 14 minutes of usable film, and the whole scene lasted, I think, 16 minutes.
Yeah.
So he had 2 cameras running side by side, so when one finished,
He would turn it up.
he could turn on the other one immediately, and they could do the full thing back to back. And because he didn't want to cut between the 2 phone calls, he wanted him to make both phone calls do the full 16 minutes in one take.
Yeah.
They did it once. He was like, that was really good. We're going to go again right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, right now. And Pacino looked at him, and Lumet said he was like, he told me to fuck off with his eyes.
Yeah.
But
that's exactly where he should be.
And he was like, but that's exactly what he needed to be. And he was a pro, and he immediately went into it again. And like, they were shooting almost chronologically.
Yeah.
And he was he was pretty burnt out already from just the grind of the schedule and where they were at in production. And it was they filmed it at the end of the day, so he was really tired, and he wanted to go home. And so for him to say, we got to do it all over again right now, don't think and go. But Pacino, on a level, he knew, he trusted Lumet. He was like, he's doing this for a reason. And he didn't even question it. He went right into it. And afterward, they used all of the second take.
Yeah.
And afterward, Pacino, like, he was, like, days later, they were watching dailies, and Lumet was like, "You see," and Pacino's watching his second take, and he's just like, "I don't remember any of that
exactly
at all."
And he's like, "Exactly." Yeah.
And he was like, "I don't even remember that take." Yeah,
and that's it. Those are the magic ones. Those are the magic ones. Awesome.
Right.
What about the scene where the teller wants to smoke and Gonzalez talking about her body being a temple and he's just kind of thrown away? He's kind of thrown. He had so much to his character. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the whole thing where he's like,
the hypocrisy of it is so interesting.
Well, it's so interesting. All of it. I mean, he's.
Yeah, it says a lot about him.
He's like a Catholic.
It's a silly thing to say because he's robbing a bank, and we all know it. And like everyone in the room that he's saying it to is like, "You're holding us hostage." She calls him on it. Yeah.
And then the stuff where he's like, "Oh man, I love one of the great." I mean, this is such an argument for shooting chronologically, but because it's just so amazing. But I love another really interesting part where he's like, Sonny, in the TV, they're saying there's 2 homosexuals, and he's like, yeah, so, and he's like, I'm not a homosexual. That's important. You tell him to get that right. And Pacino's reaction, I just love it. He's like, Sir, what do you want? I can't.
Yeah.
He's like, I got.
He's like, what do you want
This
me
is
to
not
do?
important. They're just, come
They're
on.
just
sir. What
talking.
do they're just talking.
No one's gonna care.
Tell patients that he's like, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do so many things. I can't do that. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change what they say. I don't know. And you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh gosh, it's just great.
And you feel for him in the sense that, like, it kind of plays into his line about because the Lord, it sets up that he's a religious guy. So when he says that, you almost feel for him in a sense that he's like, oh, and you're like, but yeah, buddy, there's nothing. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
None. And guess what? You got your, now people are going to think you're homosexual. Nothing wrong with that. But for you, I guess you have an issue with it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, and it's such an interesting, and I think this movie is fraught with those like kind of human foible kind of moments where it's like I understand someone not wanting to be misidentified in terms of their sexuality on
all sides
television, sure, but it's also like at this point, this is what you care. Like,
yeah,
what is the scope of it? And
yeah,
but that's how the human brain works. Like you
yeah.
go like, no, this is something. But
maybe I can control
in the
this.
middle of it, yeah, it's like, no, man, like, yeah. The jet scene still tricks me every time as I want Sunny to win. We all do. We all want Sunny to win, and we definitely, gosh, and what a weird.
I forgot how it ended. I knew that I obviously knew how the ultimate ending was, but I forgot the trick. So that's genuinely, I was like, oh yeah, oh shit.
Well, what an interesting and kind of devastating thing to throw in there in the script, and I don't know how much this is true. But there's that, where Matthew Broderick's dad is the FBI agent. Is James Broderick is.
Oh really?
Yeah. And so,
wow, the guy who's going.
Yeah, the very
10 minutes.
the very calm guy who comes like,
Wow.
Sonny, this and that, and he comes in and
oh my god, it's just,
I know.
It's always interesting. You're like, nepotism
like,
all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, apparently like he brought Matthew Broderick to this set when he was 12 years old. Matthew Broderick was, and then later Sidney Lumet used Matthew Broderick in a movie with Dustin Hoffman and Marlon Brando called Family Business that I need to watch. Yeah. The gun to his head. He looks at the camera. Oh. Yeah, maybe.
Will handle Sal.
That and that's what I'm talking about, Embalock. That whole moment where he's like, what? And he's like, wait, what are you talking about? And he's like,
my partner?
You think I'd sell him out? Yeah. Sell him out.
Yeah. And then what's interesting is when he comes back inside and Sal asks him what they were talking about and why he couldn't just talk about it in here. He was like, he lies.
Yeah, because he got in his head and he's like, because Sal's a hothead, and it's But what's interesting is like why did the FBI agent say that at all? Why does he?
Yeah.
Why does he risk at all? Unless it's to throw him off and kind of subconsciously get him.
But it's such a weird. It's a creepy line almost because like you don't. There's an implication to it, but there's no concrete. We're gonna do it this way or that, or what that means. Are we gonna kill him? Are we gonna? You don't know.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know, but he knows that he has the right reaction. It was like, well, whatever it is, I'm not going against my partner.
But then
here.
and then he says it again, right? He's like, I will take care of him because he gets the last word. We linger on him thinking, and then like every time he communicates with him from that moment on, there's like this sort of like. I feel like there's this just little moment of him kind of very calmly looking at him.
Yeah.
And like he knows that's there, and it's almost like he is getting him over to his side or something. I don't even know. It's like this weird. I don't know what the strategic.
Nor do I.
Unless it's to cleave them between, like psychologically get them kind of like separate them a little bit.
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
But I don't know if that's worth the risk, and if it's not, it's so insidious to be like. We're gonna get this guy, and you're gonna be partly at fault. You're gonna have part of the blame for this, even though there's nothing you could have done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. You think I'm gonna sell it because you got a great, and I got my hand all the way up it. My hand, not the hand. That's not what he says.
There's so many great shots of just Pacino at that door at night, looking out that cracked. Like so many to me, like when he sees them come in. And bring the banner. It says, "We love you, Sonny." He's looking one way, and then he turns and he sees it, and he leans forward into the doorway, and it's just one of those shots that I immediately was like, if I was making like a montage of like great actors and some of their great moments for like the Oscars, I'd pull that shot. Yeah. Because it's such an iconic shot of Pacino, prime 70s Pacino, doing some great acting. It's great movement. It's a great like pivot, looking and leaning, and just like I'm just like that's just so magical to me. Yeah. And it's really a nothing shot in all things considered, but boy, there's just a lot of little striking things. It just goes to show that like when you have a great script, but then you have how it can't be just one thing.
Right.
Like, in order to have a movie that's special, and I'm not talking about awards, I'm not talking about anything like, because those things really don't mean much of anything.
It's just a lasting piece of art.
That is it is, and but it has to be a great script, a great director who can oversee the whole thing, but then also a great director who can work with great actors and find a common ground and are in touch with each other to find the common ground to create this special character and then those moments within it. Because, like, it's a great script, but it was also, they revised it with improvisation, and there's so much in this movie that is just not on, like with any great movie, that's just not on the page. And it's palpable. Yeah. And like John Cazale's performance is not on paper at all.
Not. Absolutely.
And it's great. Yeah, fuck yeah, whoa, it's whisper one more, please. But I'll just take one though.
Yeah, no, true, absolutely. And I mean, and this is because I was saying while you were away, and I know that we kind of touched on this earlier, but Lumet is a guy. There are directors like, to some extent, Scorsese, though he mixes it up and does different stuff, and they're just directors who have a style, right? Mm-hmm. And Sidney Lumet is a guy who was consciously was like, I don't want to have a style. I want the style to arise from the material, and I will adapt and do, because he's fantastic.
Because and his style is that he doesn't have a style, and like I think it's a conscious thing, but I also don't think he's capable of it. I think that's just it's so ingrained in who he is as a person that he's just like, no, I just have to I have to service the material. Yeah,
because he's a legendary director. He's my favorite director, but he's such a workmanlike director. He's just like I come in, I do the job. Like he finished Dog Day 3 weeks early. Like wow. Like he can't I think he had a habit of coming in under schedule and just like coming in, just doing the job, and then just doing the job right, and boom, 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 and then also, by the way, just being
a genuine artist.
True. Like but he's just one of those guys. Like
he's like John Ford in the sense that like those guys came from, because he came from TV.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he's old. He really does come from that old school background, But even John Ford found poetry, even though he truly never, he was like, I am a director for hire. He's like, I hate the auteur theory. I don't believe in it.
Yeah. And Lumet is one of those guys where he's like, I'm just,
he's like, I made
pictures. That's all.
I love how, like, I was watching a Charlie Rose interview with him and how pragmatic he is. Because he's like, look, I've made a lot of pictures. Yeah. Like 39. Like he was highly prolific.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, I made
a movie every year. And like, they're all almost all of them are classic. I mean,
and he was like, I made a lot of pictures. Some are really good. Yeah. And some are really, really awful. Yeah. He's like, so, because Charlie Rose asked him a question of like how he was like, it's just, it is a complete, like, even you can have a great script, have great actors, be completely over-prepared, and think you're going to walk in there feeling super confident, and you're going to crush it, and you really have a good feeling about it, and you can fail. Totally. And he was like, and I know that because I have. And then on other times where I, like, literally did gigs because I just felt like I hadn't worked in a while, and I needed to do something, and I needed some money, I was literally doing these things for money. Turned out to be some of the most artistic stuff I ever made. Absolutely. So he's like, you never really know, and especially with cinema where it's such a malleable thing and there's so many moving parts and so many players. Gosh, it can fail at any step along the way,
and you can do everything right and it can still fail.
And it can still fail.
You can get to the end. I feel like you can get to the end and have every moving part magically in place, everything, and you get to the end, you just go and you do it, and then you watch it and you go, didn't need to be a movie.
Yeah.
Just not everything was right. We didn't get it.
And that's that's essentially what he said, and that is actually a fantastically liberating thought.
True. Yeah.
To know that
like
you
this,
can
take a
do
shot at it.
everything right, and you can quote unquote even succeed in terms of delivering what you think is a great movie, and it could just not work.
Yeah.
And it's kind of out of your hands entirely. That's actually very liberating, and I took great catharsis in that, and just being, because I'm hard on myself with work, and it's just like, yeah, but you know what, man, like all you can do is work as hard as you can, treat people as kind as you possibly can, and work as hard towards the goal with what you're given.
Totally.
And the circumstances that you are given in both a pragmatic, like physical way, and what life is offering you in that moment.
Yeah.
And then hopefully something good comes out of it.
That's
all you can do.
I mean, that's it, and that's all art, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's why people talk about inspiration so much. It's just a product of the moment and
The
what's
moment,
happening.
yeah.
And, I mean, the universe or God or whatever you think is, whatever, and it's just you have to be in the right place to try to apply the right skills the way that you think best, and then part of it you have no idea where it comes from.
You can have a
Who
better
knows?
batting average if you're like a good actor or a good
Totally.
director or something like that.
But
You're gonna fail.
Oh yeah.
Like without question, you will fail.
Are gonna no.
But that's a good thing.
It is.
Like it's almost like I think that's what's so cool about it, is like failing should be accepted, because you're never going to be, no one's perfect, no work is ever going to be perfect. People who make masterpieces only see flaws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's so funny to hear any really like Scorsese or Spielberg, they all talk the same about, like Michael Mann, talk about their famous movies that are legendary, and they all are just like, all I see is missed opportunities or what I wanted to do, and it's like, fuck, it really does go all the way up to the top. Even the people you respect the most, they all think the same, where it's just like, what could have been in my brain had I been able to pull it off. But it's just like, that's not how it works. It's not art.
You watch Michael Mann talking about Black Hat, and he's like, we nailed it. No, I don't know. I'm just
no regrets.
It's just a callback. I'm not seeing Black Hat. I probably would love Black Hat. All right, here we're gonna watch.
It's a great film.
We're gonna watch this scene that Red Wolf pop. You're saying at minute 50. I feel like, so here I don't remember watching this the other night because I was getting really drowsy toward the end. But I was also like, I've seen this movie a billion times. But let's see if there's a camera look. That sounds very familiar, actually. I 100% believe that he looks straight at the camera.
So that's Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick said, yeah. Oh yeah, they're letting Maria out. We're gonna be muted for this portion of the.
I'll pray for you, Sal. Because this is your first plane trip. Don't be scared, okay?
Man, when her boyfriend, they got Maria in there. It's like, oh dang, that's like a moment where you go like, yeah, what you're doing is terrible.
Yeah.
That is.
Hey, I just realized I didn't eat all day. Is there going to be any food on board?
There'll be hamburgers on the plane. You ready?
Some pizzas, some hamburgers.
Sal? What? Ready to go?
What's funny is I knew the jig was up the first time I watched it.
Yeah, because you can feel it.
Well, you can feel it, but like when he said hamburgers, I was like, "There's no hamburgers on that plane."
Sal.
You know, Lance Henderson auditioned for Leon.
Point, right?
What's that?
He auditioned for Leon Henderson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
I'm ready.
Boom! Yes. It's the one person who dies in the entire movie. Yeah, he's gonna look down the barrel, right? Doesn't he? Yeah. How do you does? Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
You
think
could argue it. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think
he's
it's
not
so
breaking
much.
the wall though.
Yeah. I don't think it's so much. Well. Okay. Yeah, it's not like end of Magnolia
Yeah.
thing. The Whirlwind edit was effective as well. Whirlwind in terms of they had to edit it quickly. Is that what you mean? Can't believe you fell for that. Point the gun up. Sal, you. Oh man. Well, he didn't know Wyoming's a state, so. Gosh, what a weird and like it's just totally improv, but like.
It's great.
You're like, who is this person? How crazy. And then I mean like you just get the nuggets that you get of his character, like when he's like you promised me, like what's driving him is that he's like we're gonna get away, we're gonna kill ourselves, and it's like dang, but then you realize like oh
So what are you talking about?
yeah. But then you go further with that line and he reveals he's like I'm just not going back to jail, and you go oh that's why.
Yeah.
He's just never. I mean it's just.
Isn't it cool
just
how
so good.
how Pacino got
Quick
Cazale
edit, yeah.
on board for this movie? Like he brought him into the audition. They had a completely other version of this character, like 18, good looking. Cazale kills it, but like Pacino has always talked about him as like
Almost like a mentor kind
like a mentor. Like he really reveres that dude.
Absolutely.
And he was really sad when he passed. And I've seen him talk about him in multiple interviews.
And even like
and he has a hard time.
A couple years ago. Like 2016.
He speaks so fondly and so emotionally about him.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that he had a genuine impact on him, not only as a person, but like he learned a lot Pacino learned a ton about craft.
Can you imagine
from that guy?
If he
the only guy in history to ever be in nothing but Best Picture nominees.
It's true.
Yeah.
But can you? I mean, if they were still acting together today, I mean, that'd be amazing. Like, and that line where he goes, you don't smoke. He goes, I don't want to get the cancer. And like, that's what got him. Like, it's. I mean, that's like goodness gracious. I want to see Heat again. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's an interesting double feature. Came out a year after Godfather 2. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. Crazy.
That's a testament to The Godfather too, because like you talk about timeless type movies, like Godfather and Godfather 2 really do feel like they were made in the 40s.
Yeah,
like it just does.
Yeah,
it
really. Yeah, it just looks like a
looks, feels
painting. It's
it's
great. It's interesting, and because there was a period too, and I read a bunch of stuff, and I want to tread lightly because I'm not, it's all third, fourth, eighth hand, but like, there was a period where like they came to Pacino and he was going to do it, and then then he sort of didn't want to do it for reasons that in different places.
I read that it was more like it was taking too long to get it going or something.
Interesting.
What
well,
did
then that's
you
another
read?
one. That's like a fourth version. There's one where it's like he didn't. One was that he was too exhausted from Godfather 2, and
maybe that's what it was. He was burnt out.
Yeah,
he wanted to take a step back.
So method, and it could be maybe it's a combination of a number of things. Obviously,
I mean, I don't know how people can just move from one movie to another. Yeah.
But then another thing, and again, it's tricky to say because
drugs.
We just read this, but it's like no, that he was like that he had an issue playing a homosexual character, which is crazy because cruising later is so is so in.
Well, I thought about cruising while I was watching this because I was like, this is such a human portrait of a gay character
in 1975.
In 1975, and then he's in Cruising, which a lot of gay people felt was pretty darn offensive.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In Friedkin's biography, he talks about, each chapter's a different movie. And in Cruising,
wow,
they were picketing the shoot.
So I've not seen Cruising, and I know the premise and stuff, but I didn't.
It's a great movie.
I didn't realize that.
But it goes into the hardcore. I mean, it's about the hardcore gay sex scene in the 80s.
Yeah, which is so. It's almost, is it? I mean, is it almost playing it as like this is the high concept thing? Is like scary gay sex like?
Yeah, it's playing. It's playing into that phobia for sure.
Interesting.
It's not. I never took it as making a judgment.
Sure,
I don't think it's a homophobic movie.
Right. It just happens to be about this, and then.
But it's about that scene. I mean, there's literally a shot of a guy in leather, in one of the clubs, and they do like a dolly push in on his forearm as he's greasing it up.
Yeah.
And you know what he's gonna do with that? Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna like take some cookie sheets off of a rack.
Yeah, he's just gonna bake it.
Cool. Because you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but like, but yeah, and I understand. I understand. To me, for not having seen it, it makes sense that like that's just the story they're telling. But then coming out at that time when people felt afraid of homosexuality the way they did,
the AIDS epidemic,
that's what they see, and they go, "See, that's what we're scared of," or "That's what we're whatever." When it's
and there's an argument.
Hardcore. People, this is hardcore straight sex is hardcore any kind of.
There's certainly an argument, a justifiable one, to be like this, particularly at that time, to be like this is not a productive way to progress gay culture.
Sure.
By having a straight guy make a hardcore gay sex and then
be like,
release it on, get a major release with a major star, and then just have everyone think this is what we do.
And the movie is about like, isn't this crazy? Like, isn't it? Yeah. So
it's Freakton. It's him pushing it to the extremes.
Right.
But it's just about that. It's just, I mean, that's the world that movie takes place in.
Sure.
I don't think it's a good movie. I like it.
Yeah.
It has a terrible ending though.
We're gonna do it. Straight people shove greased up fists into things as well. Oh, totally.
He was just battering it up and cooked it. Little chicken wing.
Okay. Yeah, man. That's it. Good night. Yeah. So that was, but yeah, there was this whole thing in it. I mean, we just read it on a website, but it was apparently from an interview with the screenwriter who, and I don't know. It's 1975. Maybe Pacino was like concerned about the effect it would have on his career in a time where people.
I think that's absolutely in 1975 a consideration that he took into account.
I think so. And
I think anyone would in 1975.
Yeah, because there's a scene. Apparently, there was a scene, and there are different versions of this where I've heard that there was a scene written in where, and this is interesting. Where like there was a scene between he and Leon, between him and Leon, where there was like a tearful goodbye and then like a mouth-to-mouth kiss kind of thing. Outside, while they were surrounded by people, like yelling, chanting gay epithets at them, which is like, I'm like, whoa, that's a powerful and telling and interesting, and like something that like, because that really doesn't. There are a couple times where someone throws out like, he's a whatever.
They kind of do it. I liked how they handled it because it
doesn't become a huge part of the story.
They make it happen in the sense that like when they're leaving in the bus, like you can hear like maybe the F word.
Yeah.
Really? I feel like, or some epithet, like something like that being shouted at them.
There is a moment where someone goes, he's a. Q word.
I like though that because that's usually the go-to where you would go with that.
Right.
I like that they did that, but I like that the people who are standing on the side, that they choose to focus on are supporters.
Absolutely, and
I like that. It's different.
And it is like
Fartica, right? Yeah, the F word.
Fartica. Chris Sarandon made spaghetti for his gay friends' transgender acquaintances at the time to ask them about their experiences to learn. Oh, that's really sweet.
Oh, that's cool.
That's great. Yeah, like.
And to be fair, like I want to say, but I have no clue. But just given that Pacino went on to do Angels in America.
Yeah, totally fair.
So it's just like.
Although he plays it, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
but no, totally.
You know, given what the entire piece is about,
totally,
it just and he's like the centerpiece of that. I feel
I
like
believe that Pacino is.
I feel like it was an absolute consideration for him to be like nervous, and rightfully so, given the period.
Absolutely.
That's what makes this movie not only groundbreaking, but a real step forward.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it was 1975. That stuff was not discussed or
Totally.
talked about or addressed.
And it is and I mean, and it's around the time, like it's a few years after the Stonewall riots, and it's like which is the beginning of like the gay rights movement, and it's like but and it's in full swing. But yeah, you're right. Like it's still people. So I don't know. It's interesting. So anyway, sorry. So like there was supposed to be this scene where that happened, and part of me, I'm like, you're right. I'm glad they acknowledge it, but it doesn't take the forefront. And part of it is like it's nice to not have that in there.
It is, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, would it be more honest to showcase that side a bit more? There's much more. You much more get the sense that people were supporting him because he is part of what was a marginalized community. Who was
It felt pretty.
Yeah.
I mean,
there are some things.
I don't want to speak for gay people, but like it felt to me that like it felt very real to me.
Sure.
That in a situation like that, it would be like your supporters would come out and they would be the most vocal ones,
Totally.
and then you would encounter the other ones, but I don't think they'd come out. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but like I don't know. It just felt honest to me. It felt like the right way to approach it. Like, I could see them doing, like, incorporating that scene, not even being very quick.
Yeah.
But just addressing it to show both sides.
Totally.
Well,
So apparently there are two stories, which, like, one is that Pacino was like, I'm not going to do that. And was like, and asked him to change it to the phone scene, which the phone scene is fantastic. And then there's another version.
What phone scene?
Between him and Sarandon.
Oh, okay.
But then there's another version that says that both scenes were in there, and Pacino objected to the outside one because he felt it would take away from the impact of the inside of the phone scene, which I don't know.
What happened in the phone scene? Did they?
Well, it's just where he's just talking, where where Leon finally gets on the phone with him to talk to him, and and he's like, I'm dying here, and then he goes. And he goes, yeah, well, they think I'm in it with you, and he's like, that's ridiculous. You're not going to get arrested. You're not going to. He's like, well, what can you tell him? And he's like, what do you want me to tell him? Are they on the phone right now? And it's this heartbreaking thing where he realizes he's been.
How did he think that was going to take away by having some people yelling gay?
Well,
slurs?
No, to have them, because as it stands in the movie, their only contact. He's much more isolated. He doesn't see Leon. He doesn't touch Leon. He doesn't hold him. They only speak on the phone, and the only time they speak. And this is the guy. This is the woman, the person he's doing this entire thing for. He's in love with her.
Yeah, it's so heartbreaking how they end that phone call. It's so it's always gonna feel abrupt when you're like, oh shit, this is the last.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
But also,
like, how else do you end that phone call?
I mean, what a devastating thing when he's like, are you happy now? I told him, all right, are they off? And he looks up and they're just silently there, and he goes, yeah, and he just even in the one phone call that he gets with the love of his life or the person he's doing this for is compromised because of these dudes. Yeah.
Do you think Pacino's character knew? Do you think Sonny knew in that moment when he was like, "Are they off now?" And he says yes. Do you think he knew that they were still on? How could he not?
I do not. I don't think so.
So I don't think so either. But doesn't that make him really stupid?
No, I think he just trusts him. I think he's in love with the guy, and he's like, I don't know. Dog Day Afternoon, yeah, baby. Isn't this that crappy movie by Wolf Rat?
Wolf Rat coming in hot.
Oh gosh, sounds like a pretty good relationship, even wasn't sure. Yeah. Although there was, there was abuse and there was some dysfunction, but they
didn't he hold a gun to his head?
Yeah, that's what he says. He says he held a gun to me and he stabbed me and like whatever. And
he's like, I've been trying to get away from you for 6 months. Just go. Why would I get on a jet with you?
Yeah. Gosh, I love Chris Sarandon in the movie. I love him.
Yeah.
Both working through something. Leon says, I thought it would help me. The marriage. Yeah. Whatever the actual person, like Chris Sarandon, did a good job. Yeah, I was watching there's a documentary called The Dog, the Draft House Films released.
Oh, yeah. I want to watch that,
Watch a chunk of it.
You did?
Yeah, and they show the dude, and they did, the real John Workovich or whatever his name is. His name is not Sonny, and it's something close to this Wordovich. I don't know how to say it.
There's a J in there.
Yeah. But it's crazy. You can see him. You can see the mom. You can see the wife.
That's
you get
cool.
To see
He looked
archival.
honestly a lot like Pacino.
Young one, yeah. And there's parts where I go like, well, and this is what's amazing.
He looks like Pacino and De Niro just combined.
It looks like, and there somewhere looks like De Niro, somewhere looks like Pacino, and somewhere looks like Ron Jeremy. And then the article, the actual article, like first couple paragraphs says that talking about him describes him. He says he has the broken good looks of an Al Pacino or Dustin Hoffman.
Right. Yeah.
So when Pacino was like I'm out, they went to Dustin Hoffman, and then Pacino was like okay, because they're rivals, and like honestly,
and like
Dustin Hoffman in this role,
oh
man. just different and
equally great,
and because those are my two, like those are like 70s Pacino and 70s Dustin Hoffman, really anytime Dustin Hoffman. I mean, Dustin Hoffman is so great.
When Dustin Hoffman shows up in anything, I'm just like, this is a delight.
This is great. I mean, he's just such a tremendous actor.
He's a tremendous
actor. And I put him in this. Put him in. I do it. Remake it. Do it. Like
when he's
if there were parallel versions, like the Rennie Harlan and I don't know who did the other Exorcist at the beginning. It's like
John Borman.
John Borman?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about Paul Schrader.
Oh, Schrader did it. That's right.
Yeah.
I was like, give me two. Give me the
they were like,
give me the Deep Impact Armageddon Dog Days.
That's such a two. It's like, okay, well, we tried Schrader.
Yeah.
Who's the polar opposite of Schrader on both name recognition and talent? It's like, let's go to the opposite end of that. And they're like, okay.
What's Michael Bay doing? No,
not him. What about Yonda? No, gotta go just a little bit lower in name recognition. All right, give me Rennie.
I love Rennie Harlan. So you haven't seen Long Kiss Goodnight?
I don't need to.
You do. You don't think you do, but you do. Have you seen Cutthroat Island?
Have I seen Cutthroat Island? No.
It tanked Carolco.
I know it did. And United Artists,
but
right?
It is, maybe. And Gina Davis for a time.
Oh wait, what tanked you? Continue.
Yeah, but it is fine. You're like kind of cool. It's one of the better movies out there.
Okay, here's the thing. I knew it tanked a studio, and so I wanted to watch it, and I got an hour in, and I was like, "This is Rob Roy. This is a completely wrong movie."
That's hilarious. I love that. Rob Roy's supposed to be good.
I was like, this is not bad. Yeah. I don't understand why this didn't do bad. Why did this did so terrible at the box office?
Cutthroat Island is like a fun swashbuckling thing with Matthew Modine as a pirate, which is weird. But
oh, it's Matthew Modine. I thought it was
what's his name
from. I thought it was what's his name from Princess Bride. Carol.
No.
That's who I thought it was because he looks like him on the poster. Yeah. It's a great looking poster.
It's a great poster. It's Streisand, I believe. It's got to be.
Is it?
It's got to be.
Yeah, it's a great poster.
Yeah. For the actual Chris is portraying Leon's kind of non-committal attitude towards Sonny. You don't really, because there's archival footage of him in that documentary, and like
from the robbery.
There's footage from the robbery, and it looks, you're just like, they got it. Wow, it's crazy. And there's archival footage of Leon, or his name was Eric Aaron? No. Ernest Aaron, but then like got gender reassignment surgery, what they would call a sex change, or what they did call a sex change back then. Became a woman called Elizabeth Eden, who's a good-looking woman. Yeah. Like I saw a picture and I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, lived out the rest of his life as a woman and passed away from AIDS or from pneumonia associated with AIDS. So. But you don't really feel anything between them, and it comes across as more like Sonny was working through that. I mean, it just seems like a dysfunctional relationship where I think there was affection, but also it was not a great. It
felt very real to me.
Yeah, absolutely. It
felt like a broken. I was like, that ain't gonna recover. But it felt like the emotions were real.
Totally. And he, Chris Sarandon's first movie, and he was nominated for an Oscar, and just absolutely well deserved. I guess they were both working through something. Leon says it would help me. Yes. Dog Day Afternoon was in Philadelphia before Philadelphia. Yeah, it's just,
we need to do a Jonathan Demme month.
Yeah, I'm woefully under.
Me too.
Under Demi'd.
But anytime I watch a Demme movie, I'm just like, whew.
Yeah,
that was a fantastic director.
So Jonathan Demme, and then Ted Demme did all the music documentaries. He did a lot of music and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, in the sense that like it is, I think it is a revolution. I mean, it is such a tremendously important film in that sense because it. I mean, the protagonist is this character who is in this at the time non-traditional relationship, who we care about fully and find and see as a human
there's
being.
There's no even hint of a stereotype
Yeah.
in how they portray those.
Well,
two.
and then you watch the guy talk, and he's like, yeah, you know, like he looks like he's like it's like on the King of Queens or something.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if that's a good.
It is.
I haven't seen really a lot of King. Yeah. But it's like, yeah,
It
he's
reminded
he's like
me
a
of Kevin
Seinfeld
James, like-
neighbor. Yeah, exactly. It's like you go like this. Wow, interesting, and it's totally drag him, snatch his movie.
But
with his
I wonder,
girlfriend.
like, what movies came before this that really showed a complete,
Yeah.
three-dimensional performance, like of a gay character, and not it's a part of the movie and how it's revealed and things, but it's a total in terms of like they just treat it as a complete non-issue, which it is.
Yeah.
But
to see that in
to see that in 75 and not make it and just be like, we're just moving along with the plot.
Yeah. Tootsie Robs a Bank. I'd watch that. Yeah. Speaking of fantastic Charles Durning roles and fantastic Dustin Hoffman roles, and Sidney Pollack directed Tootsie, and both Charles Durning and Dustin Hoffman are in it. And that movie is fantastic. If you're looking for the good movie where a person where a straight person for practical career needs or whatever reasons dresses up like a woman. If you're looking for like Mrs. Doubtfire or Big Mama's House, but like good, like really good, like not like you're going.
I haven't gotten all the way through it.
Tootsie's fantastic.
I know it's fantastic.
It is a great
and
film.
I'll tell you why I haven't. I was in theater for like 4 years and I did tech for 2, but I was always hanging out with the theater group constantly. They championed this movie and quoted this movie nonstop for 4 years.
And this high school?
Yeah, and this
That's
is before
really weird.
This is before it's like I was into movie making, but I was not well versed in movies. And they had like a cutout of Dustin Hoffman in the outfit, like, from the poster and everything, like life-size cutout. Because we had a lot of weird stuff like that, and our theater director was gay, pretty flamboyantly gay.
Yeah.
He was a lovely man, like just a real he was like 5'1", 350, like he was just a ball, and he was a delight. But it was one of those things where when a group that you love, but they just won't shut up about one thing, and they treat it like it's the Bible of everything.
That's so weird that at that time it was Tootsie.
It was Tootsie. And it was Tootsie in that
like
class for
1980.
so long that I was so tired of hearing about Tootsie that it really gave me. I was like, I don't care. I know it's great. I get it, guys. It's the greatest thing ever. But I have that, and I've carried that with me my entire life. I have this connotation with Tootsie.
That's awful.
So I need to watch it in full.
That's so awful. I'm so sorry that happened to you because it's a terrific movie.
I know it is.
Has a wonderful, wonderful Charles Durning performance.
Really?
Yeah, it's great.
I love Hoffman. I love Pollock.
Yeah.
All right.
Jessica,
I'll sit down and
Lange
watch
is
it.
fantastic. Gina Davis in an early role, bringing us back to Cutthroat Island.
It's just that
Let's talk about
they would
Cutthroat
always quote. They would speak in quotes to each other.
Of Tootsie?
Of Tootsie.
You did not go to high school in 1986. I don't know why this is happening. This is so weird. Why were they like Tootsie's great?
It was probably because it was that niche, like we're only like 15, so we're gonna love
Tootsie.
We're gonna love Tootsie, because no one knows about Tootsie because we're too
all,
too young to know about Tootsie. But it was because of the theater director, like he showed it in class, became a thing.
Well, good.
Totally.
Great. Good.
But when the people just talking movie quotes, and then you don't know what that movie is, and then that doesn't stop for 4 years. That was my life.
Not exactly, but it sounds like you specifically.
Listen, I dimmed the lights on the lighting board a couple times because I was like, you guys need to shut up.
Sure, Tootsie. Bill Murray's in it.
What?
Yep. Bill Murray's in it. Sidney Pollack is one of I love. He pops in it. I love Sidney Pollack in anything as an actor. And
yeah,
and he pops. He's his agent. He's great. Fantastic. Have we done Seven Samurai yet? No, because I'm hankering for Kurosawa. I might actually watch that this week. Nice. Thought The Island tanked UA. Oh, that might be true. I think that. Remember when Dustin Hoffman played Mumbles in Dick Tracy? Vividly. Baby go, no, baby go, no, baby go. Yeah, that's
Such a great movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in forever. Charles Durning is in that film, and and I did not remember that, so I need to rewatch. We need to do Warren Beatty. We need to do Reds, Bulworth.
We can do Reds,
Bugsy.
Oh, there's so much.
And freaking Dick Tracy.
I had like a Warren Beatty period. I read his biography and I got way into Warren Beatty, and I was like, what a brilliant, crazy dude, who made some I was like, never in a million years would I want to work with that guy. But his obsession with making something that was good, just because he cared so much. Yeah. To the point that he would just push everyone away. He was a charming dude. Yeah. But he was just so persistent that he was annoying. That's what it was. He wasn't mean. He was annoying with how persistent he was in getting it right.
But it's so crazy because I didn't, until I read, Easy Riders, I just thought he was a pretty boy.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like, I did not realize how much of a pivotal,
the depth to him.
Yeah, and what a mover and a shaker, and what an important person he was in
very important
the 70s film renaissance.
Yeah,
which, as we covered, created films as we know them today, essentially.
Yeah.
He
really did kick it off, Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah.
Miss Doubtfire isn't good. No, Miss Doubtfire is very good. Super fun. But Miss Doubtfire.
Wait, how do we get to Mrs. Doubtfire?
Because I said it's Mrs. Doubtfire and Big Mama's House, but good. So it's like, no, Miss Doubtfire is very good. It's very good.
Big Mama's House.
Super. I haven't really seen it, but it's Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire is a very good movie, and Tootsie is like a film. It's true.
He's doing that thing.
I'm not. Doing that thing. Mrs. Doubtfire is great. Super fun.
Mrs. Doubtfire is a good movie.
Oh, okay.
That's what she did. He was like, it's a good movie. But if we're talking about legitimate cinema, I'm gonna have to go with Tootsie.
Look, man.
And this is how the kids in my class talked.
I'm going to start quoting it. You're going to dim the lights. I got here. Why are we talking about Tootsie? Because Tootsie's great, Shani. Sounds like because this talk show lacks focus. No, it doesn't. It just has a glut. It has more focus than the average talk show. Ishtar, baby.
Ishtar's awesome.
Ishtar is great. Ishtar is the first 30 minutes of Ishtar is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It is so funny.
The opening scene of Ishtar is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I don't laugh out loud at movies that often, but I was cackling at that movie.
Elaine May, baby! Because what else do you want to talk about? The funnest thing about Miss Doubtfire is pretending it exists in the same universe as Goldeneye. Miss Doubtfire was on a few nights ago. I watched it for the dozenth time. Absolutely. It was a run-by fruiting. Yeah, totally.
I'm getting hot flashes.
Yeah. First there's a woman. Harvey Firestein.
My favorite joke is like, look, I'm a hot dog. He just goes like this, because you can tell they sat him in a chair with what's his name, I talk like this.
Who's in this movie? Harvey Firestein. He's in this film as one of the actors.
Is he?
Yeah,
cool.
It's an uncredited role.
Yeah, I just love they sat him in a chair opposite him and they're like, all right, Robin, just go do voices for 30 minutes or until this film runs out.
Yeah.
And then they just did a montage cut of him. And my favorite one is he's like, look, I'm a hot dog. He says,
Lobo rates Mrs. Doubtfire very highly in Pierce Brosnan's oeuvre. Sure. Because what else are you going to put up there?
Thomas Crown Affair.
The Tailor of Panama? I don't know. I've never seen that. Thomas Crown Affair is supposed to be good.
Thomas Crown Affair is awesome.
Really?
Yeah, way better than the first one.
What? Really?
Yeah. It's a really, really good movie.
Steve McQueen, man. What an interesting dude. Robert Prosky, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, yeah! Oh, shit!
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He plays his boss.
Mm-hmm.
And
he plays the guy that he's trying to
he's going back and forth.
Yeah.
He's like, and he sits down in the outfit because he's like just lost in it. And he's a little drunk and that's great. And he's like, I love it.
Yeah. And he's on
Robert
the ground and he's looking down at him. He's like, I'm going to get you a family. Gosh, that freaking role.
Hey, guys, remember how good Thief was?
He was great.
It's great.
So great. The best thing about Miss Doubtfire is how horrible a person Robin Williams' character is, but the audience and character only really realize it at the end.
Yeah, but the music tells you he's doing good things.
Yeah, bro.
I feel like that's a lot of Chris Columbus's work.
Is that Chris
just
Columbus?
laced with like pretty gnarly stuff, but wrapped in a uplifting package.
It's a very, it's honest.
Goonies, like Gremlins.
You write Goonies?
He wrote
Gremlins.
he wrote both those.
Yeah, definitely Gremlins. Yeah, and Goonies and
He wrote
Home Alone.
and directed Home Alone, yeah. And wrote. He didn't write. I'm sorry, that was John Hughes.
John Hughes wrote it. John
Hughes, yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it
That's
is.
right.
How cute is Sally Field? Sally Field is oh gosh, one of the greatest deliveries of all time is Sally Field when she goes the whole time. Oh my gosh, I can't.
I love Sally Field.
Sally Field's great. Sally Field is she's like I think I said this. Sally Field is like I see her on screen. I go, that's my mom. It reminds me of my mom. And she and Julia Roberts for some reason, who are not all the same person. And De Niro, my dad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who you got?
I don't know who I could even compare my parents to because they're one of a kind.
Dang.
I wouldn't subject him to that.
Yeah. Like I think Kobe's got to be Kobe and I got to be LeBron. That's your parents. Yeah, sorry, we got to just be Mr. and Mrs. Rick. That's what we got to do.
Boy, what else? What else is great in this movie?
Everything.
Is there anything that you?
No.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with is there any talking points I can bring up that I disagree with? It's just a flaw. It's a flawless, fantastic movie. It
really is.
Sucks you in from the get go.
I love I love the little detail. I love the guy who calls in, which is true. Like that guy who's calling in, he's like, kill him.
Yeah.
Kill him. He's also got a great radio voice, that guy, for some reason. Yeah. He's like, yeah, just whatever.
Kill him!
Oh, and I laugh out loud. I love where he's like at the height of his frustration. He's like, what? Gosh, what? Huh? WNEW plays all the hits.
Yeah.
So great. So freaking great.
The only flaw for me was when Sonny's throwing the money at the crowd, and you just know that she was like that.
I go, that's not how money flies.
He throws it. The moment it leaves its hand, they cut away, and they're like miles away.
It drops from the money.
Yeah.
It's like the thing where the guy takes a basketball shot and then it cuts.
Yeah.
And you go, wait a second. He shot from the left side. It came straight down.
Yeah.
What's going on? Yeah,
That's
true.
true.
Point.
That's a good point.
Joe throwing the letter in the sea in Arrested Development. Oh, I need to see that. I love but I love when that guy calls in and he hands it to the lady, and it's just such a nice. There's so much great, wonderful camaraderie there.
Yeah.
He hands it to her and like they're listening, and she starts going like, and he's like, "Are you gonna? Oh, you got girls in there,
like,
right?" And she goes,
"Yeah."
And he goes, and the guy all of a sudden goes, "Who is this?"
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's so funny.
That's great. Who is this?
Oh,
that's funny.
And he's like, wait, hold on. This is getting weird. I love in that conversation with Leon, like I had to like rewind it because I didn't remember this. Like it's close. The use of close-ups in this film is great.
It's really great.
Boom,
yeah.
and it's just. I mean, the amount of Al Pacino's face that we get this big is wonderful. And vital and so central to the movie.
And sweaty.
Yeah, but then when he's talking, it's like it's cutting back between him, and then like Leon's talking to him, and it's like a wide shot of the room, and I had to rewind. I've seen this a few times, and I didn't remember. I had to rewind and be like, "Where is Leon?
It's when the conversation first starts.
It's great. You go like, "Is he not? Is he outside?" And then I rewind, and I was like, "Oh, he's like off in the corner."
Off in the corner, you see like this much.
Yeah.
Of his face, like this much.
Such an interesting choice. And
Yeah.
I really don't know what to make of it. I love it too.
I like it.
Yeah, because you go, oh, and then it just
starts to pivot
slightly, but
if you watch the barber chair in front of it, you can start to see they're dolling and moving, but you can tell they're also on like a long lens, so you're not getting that movement a lot. Yeah, it
is
interesting. I really liked it though.
Yeah, and it is, but I go like, what? Like to me,
I think it was just to show how
much is going on.
Well, just like what about it?
What a part of the thing he is.
What is about to unfold is such a private, intimate conversation that is in no way private or intimate.
Yeah, because there's this huge dude in the foreground who's out of focus, and
they're in the middle of a circus where everyone is paying attention to them.
Sure.
And then he's having to act like they're just having a normal private conversation.
But it's interesting because I hear you saying, but I feel like it's interesting because I feel like in order to get that across, it would be more effective to kind of be here on him and then just have everyone watching, like see. Although we kind of, I guess, they don't reveal that. They don't reveal that till later necessarily.
Reveal what?
That like in other words, like if we were here on Chris Sarandon and then in the background there's Durning and
I think
and
don't
James
you see
Broderick.
him in that wide?
I don't think you see him listening.
Well, I don't think you see those two guys listening on headphones.
You do see people,
but you see a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true.
Paying attention.
So, but like, why? I don't know, because to me, it's such an interesting. Because he's off to the side so much that if you did not know he was what the scene was about, you would in no way assume that he was what the scene was about. You know what I mean? It's such an interesting shot. I don't know.
But I want to say maybe it was a throwaway, but I'm like, no, because there's that move. Like they start to go in on him.
It's absolutely and then it ends up whatever, and it's just.
I like it.
I like it too. I just don't. I'm not sure. I understand what the reasoning is, but it is.
Could be a space. Cool. It literally could be a space issue, where you're like, well, we can't get a wide. Yeah, there's plenty of other ways they could have covered it to get the same
they
effect.
built that.
Yeah, they did.
Well, and I don't know.
They built it in that building.
Right.
There's a million other ways they could accomplish that. I see.
Yeah,
and
I feel like there are other ways to kind of be like the emphasis is that people are watching.
Yeah.
To me, it's like the emphasis is that he's part of the background. It's weird. It's very interesting, but it's interesting, and it's I don't know. Oh, I love.